everybody? This is Island Hopper TV, and today we're going to talk about things to know when visiting Orlando. I just spent 8 days going around to all the parks and activities, except for one. I didn't go to the Orlando Science Center, but I went to everything else. Let's do it. First thing to talk about is getting to Orlando. Depending on if you're coming from a state inside the US or if you're coming foreign abroad, you'll arrive more than likely at MCO. That's Orlando International Airport. They have 3 different terminals, and one of them is brand new. I believe that's more of an international terminal at this point. But from there, you will drive to Lake Buena Vista, downtown, or International Drive for the most part. So expect to drive in an Uber or taxi or rental car about 20 to 25 minutes to get to your accommodation from the airport. Now for some interesting facts about Orlando. So there is 2.5 million people that live here in Orlando. If you consider just Orlando proper, that's around 400,000. Now, Orlando is known as one of the greenest cities in the United States. There's almost 100 lakes. It's basically built on a swamp or a bayou kind of area. If you go out around the forest, you will notice there is some swamps. And in those swamps, there's lots of reptiles, lizards, there's rattlesnakes, and of course, alligators. No crocodiles here, but there are plenty of alligators around Orlando, and Florida may also see pumas or cougars, which is the Florida equivalent of a mountain lion. There are black bears out in the area, and the critters out here are known to be a bit feisty, so be careful walking around the forest because there are critters out there. But the gator is the one that most people fear, along with the rattlesnake. Orlando is known for its theme parks. There are around 12 major theme parks in Orlando. Disney, Universal, and Busch Gardens all have properties here, as well as Gatorland. We will be talking about more things to do in another segment, but I wanted to let you know Orlando is known for more than just theme parks. It's also known for its conventions, being one of the largest convention cities in the country, right alongside San Diego, New York, and several others. But Orlando, I believe right now, is #1 for conventions. Let's now talk about transportation and getting around Orlando once you're here. Most people will get a rental car, get around by Uber or taxi, or maybe shuttles, depending on where you're staying. I personally did Uber the whole time that I was here, and I found that to be convenient and cost efficient because parking around Orlando can be quite expensive, especially at theme parks. So when you factor in gas, you factor in rental car costs per day, as well as insurance and anything else that's associated with parking, rental cars can be a bit pricey, whereas an Uber is just pick up, drop off, and you're only waiting 5 to 10 minutes max. On average, I was waiting anywhere between 2 to 3 minutes. There's lots of Ubers here, and it's a really reasonably priced place to take Ubers, I found. Also, Lyft is another rideshare company, but if you wanted to get a rental car, you'd pick that up at the airport. You'd arrange to have that done through an app with Avis or Budget, Alamo, any one of the major carriers for rental cars, and then you would just drive it around to your airport, from the airport to your hotel. But take into consideration the cost versus rideshare, or maybe even going to one of those hotels where you just basically take the monorail or the shuttles around Disney or Universal quite efficiently, and you don't even really need a rental car, which saves you money. Let's now talk about accommodation. So I stayed at a variety of different accommodation while here. You may end up just wanting to get a vacation rental home on Airbnb. I heard those are very good values with a condo, but I stayed at mostly hotels. Right now I'm staying at the Hyatt Place, but there's also a Disney Hotel, Universal Hotel. I stayed at all of those. I also stayed at SeaWorld style hotels out there by Busch Gardens. I would say that the best value that I found is around International Drive. I stayed at the Hyatt Regency, and it was actually a pretty good experience. I found the hotel rooms to be very nice. The hotels at Disney seem to be old or getting older, and they're very crowded, but they're very family oriented, so it just depends on your vibe. Obviously, if you're coming with young kids, you may want to be around a Disney style resort. If you got older kids, you might want to stay at a Universal or Busch Gardens, or maybe even opt to stay at International Drive. International Drive is good for nightlife, but not good for theme park because it is far away from everything. It's a little bit closer to SeaWorld than anything, but you're going to be far away from Disney at that point. So it just depends on what your plans are while here. All right, so now let's talk about things to do while here. There's obviously 12 theme parks like we talked about. So you have the Disney properties. They have Hollywood Studios. They have the Magic Kingdom. They have Animal Kingdom. And then they have Epcot. Of those 4, the one that I found to be the best was Animal Kingdom. Now, if you have young kids, you'll probably want to go to Magic Kingdom because you don't have a choice. That's where the kids' dreams come true, right? But if you have, I would say, older kids, go to Animal Kingdom. Hollywood Studios, I wasn't a fan, but I heard people do like it. Epcot, I'm not a fan of that one, but others do like Epcot. I just don't understand why people want to pay money to go eat food and pay at those restaurants just to be in global villages. And most of the rides at Epcot were pretty full. Not trying to hate on Epcot, but that was my experience. I don't see the value in Epcot for what they charge, but some people do love it. It has a 4.7 out of 5 star on Google, so what do I know? Now, when it comes to Universal properties, they have Islands of Adventure, they have Volcano Bay, and they have Universal Studios. Of those three, I would say the only one that really has value, or the most value for what you're trying to do, would be Volcano Bay, followed by Islands of Adventure. I'm not a big fan of Universal Studios. I found it to be expensive. I don't like many virtual reality rides. And I didn't really see much activity going on that was exciting. I mean, I saw the Blues Brothers singing while I was there, but aside from that, I'm not really seeing the value with Universal Studios. Obviously, the Harry Potter feature is probably what's carrying that park at this point, because most people go there just for Harry Potter, although Islands of Adventure also has Harry Potter. Now, when it comes to Busch Gardens has Discovery Bay, or Discovery Cove, then they have SeaWorld, and then they have Aquatica Water Park. Aquatica Water Park is considered the best water park in all of Orlando, followed by Volcano Bay. Disney also has several other water parks. I haven't been to any of those yet, but one of them's closed right now. I think they have Typhoon Lagoon, and another one called like Winter Blizzard or something like that. But definitely Aquatica was quite impressive, especially if you have older kids. Volcano Bay is also very amazing just because of Krakatoa, the volcano. The best value that I found, though, was at SeaWorld. So SeaWorld had a lot of roller coasters. They also have the animals. The orca encounter is still really amazing. You know, it has a bad reputation online, but when you actually go to Orca Encounter, people are just oogling and ogling over the whole experience. They love it so much. I mean, and the stadium is always packed at the Orca Encounter, formerly known as the Shamu Show. So I would say that SeaWorld had the most value. It was the best price. They also offer great military benefits like half off, whereas the other parks didn't do anything for that. So I would say SeaWorld right now, if you don't need themes and you just want good rides, you want animal encounters, SeaWorld's got you. Orlando is an amazing city for international food cuisine. They have food from all over the world. So I would say Orlando is one of the top foodie cities. I know people are gonna, come in the comments to say you're crazy for saying that, but I mean, I had hot pot last night, which was really good, like soup. I had tom yum soup with meats and seafood. There's also a really good Indian restaurant that's right down the road from here, and they have an American diner right there. So lots of options just right in any area you're staying, whether you're in International Drive or you're here in Lake Buena Vista where I'm at right now. I've stayed at all those places. I've also stayed downtown. So I find the food scene to be quite nice in Orlando. When it comes to weather, the summers are quite hot. Also, it is a bit of hurricane season. I'm not going to say that there's going to be many hurricanes here, but there can be tropical storms. So summertime, probably the most popular time to come here because the kids are out of school, but it's very hot, humid, and it might not be for everybody, but make sure you stay hydrated with electrolytes, not just water, but actually getting your electrolytes, because you can get overheated in some of these parks if you're going too fast or you're overexerting yourself. Now, in the winters, believe it or not, Orlando can get a bit chilly. I've been here when there was frost on the ground in February, so winter months, not always the best because it can get a bit chilly. But I would say the shoulder seasons, fall, spring, probably the best time to be here, but that's when the kids are in school, so you have to take that into consideration. Spring break is absolutely mayhem here, but they have the best weather during that period, of course. Okay, now for my final review of Orlando. So I would say the most Florida-style experience is going to be getting out there on an airboat in the Everglades or into one of the national parks, going down to Lake Okeechobee, or going to Gatorland. Gatorland has it all. That's probably the most Florida experience. Like I said previously, the best value is going to be either SeaWorld or Animal Kingdom, in my humble opinion. Okay, the least impressive was Universal Studios. That's the one that doesn't impress me, but I heard they're building a new one, so it's probably high time for that. As far as the best area, like I said, that's going to be International Drive. You're going to find the best experience probably outside of the parks. If you're not a family, if you are a family, you want to be by Disney, I would say Disney World resorts are the best. So overall, I would say Orlando is very nice. Still one of the most visited places in the country, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video and Orlando. We'll see you on the next one.